New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all. New Thought Media Network. Positively inspiring.
New Thought Media Network is excited to present Divine Science Everywhere, Fridays at 2 p.m. Mountain Time and 4 p.m. Eastern. Come explore a modern experience of divine science. With Rev Joy Fletcher, Rev Jeff Radcliff, and Bishop Durrell Watkins. Join us as we open our eyes to divine science everywhere we look. Fridays on New Thought Media Network.
Welcome to Divine Science Everywhere. I'm Reverend Joyful Fletcher, and it is my joy to be with you today. We're broadcasting live on New Thought Media Network, where spirit, service, and sacred conversation meet. Today, we're diving into a question that's close to the heart of every seeker. How is divine science practical? How do we use spiritual principles in our daily lives, in our relationships, our decision-making, our healing, and our joy?
And I'm Rev Jeff Radcliff, and it is great to be with you. It's a gift from Spirit to be able to do this with you today. And our friend and our co-host, Bishop Durrell Watkins, is away at a conference, so we know he's with us in spirit, but we'll hold down the fort, Joy and I. Today's show, and it's full of insight, reflection. We got spiritual tools that you can use right now to help bring divine science into action in your life.
Wonderful. So as we begin, let's take a few minutes to take a breath together, to center ourselves. So let's take a deep breath and settle into this moment, knowing that you are always one with the divine, the infinite source of all. In the hustle and bustle of life, we may forget the truth that lies beneath the surface of every challenge and every joy. We may forget the truth that lies beneath the surface of every challenge and every joy. Let's pause to remember the omnipresence of God, the divine presence that flows through all things and is always present with us, within us, and around us. As we acknowledge this oneness of life, we recognize that we are never separate from this divine. We are one with it. Every thought, every action, every breath is infused with the power of spirit. In this unity, we understand that there is only good flowing continuously from the source. The only reality is divine love, and this love, this omnipresence, is the foundation of everything. Now, as we consider the power of thought, our thoughts are creative. So let us hold in our mind something positive, something uplifting. It might be an intention for today or in an area of your life where you're ready to invite change. See yourself filled with clarity, peace, and good that you desire, knowing that by aligning your thoughts with the truth of your divine, you are always bringing the change into being. So let us breathe in this moment and recognize that healing and transformation begin in consciousness. Let us practice and remind ourselves that in all things, through all things, and as all things, the divine is ever present and ever powerful. And so it is.
And so it is. And so it is. All right. So we've anchored ourselves into this moment, a quick grounding in what divine science is. At its heart, divine science teaches omnipresence of God, not as a being, but as being itself. Everything visible and invisible is an expression of that one presence. And this isn't poetic, it's practical. A little bit ago, you may have heard a couple of expressions of divinity over at Joy's house barking. You may hear my little expression of divinity, Lily. We've got some weather moving through, so she's not real fond of thunder and lightning, and she sometimes barks. So you may hear her, but she's expressing her divinity as well. So divine science invites us to live from the truth of omnipresence, not just believe it. We need to live it. And there's really no way to live it because spirit, God, is all there is. And being one with God, we have no choice but to actually live it. I think, Joy, you might agree with me that the trick, if you can call it a trick, is to remember that we're living it, that it is all spiritual all the time, no matter what it looks like. And sometimes when we get a little knee deep in the hoopla, so to speak, we tend to forget. But when we live that truth, it changes everything. It changes how we view challenges, how we love others, and how we show up in the world.
I absolutely agree with what you said, Reverend Jeff. Yes, the most important thing is to just remember that you and I and everything in our world are never separate from this source.
Right.
And that source is absolute love. It does not matter what's happening. We just remind ourselves, breathe into the moment that all is well. We may think in our humanness that we have this perfect plan and the outcome is going to be this or that, and doesn't always work that way. But that doesn't mean that our prayers and our treatments aren't working. It just means that life is flowing in its infinite expression. And the best thing is just to take a breath and be there, be present in the moment.
Yes.
All is well. And sometimes plan B, plan C, D, E, F, whatever. But through it all, omnipresence is there always, always. Yes.
And that's what our founders always went back to. Whenever there was a problem, somebody would bring them an issue. I'm not sure how Melinda Kramer handled it, but I know that I've seen documents that show that Nona Brooks would always send her people back to the very beginning. She said, somebody bring up their problem, and she'd say, remember the omnipresence and move forward from there.
Yes, yes. And also, when we pray for each other, we have treatment for each other. We don't need to know the details.
Absolutely.
We just need to know and affirm the perfect flow of omnipresence and the perfect outcome that is just right for this situation. We don't need to know the details and all the stories and this and that. We just need to know that we know that we know the truth of omnipresence.
Let's expand on that for just a moment. Why don't we need to know the details? Here's the thing. If you go telling everybody in the world your problems, they have their ideas of how you need to be fixed or healed or whatever. They have their ideas on sicknesses or financial difficulties or relationship problems, and those may not always be of the highest caliber and the highest level. They don't mean to, but people sometimes bring in their negativity. And when I want someone to pray for me and I ask for prayer, I want somebody who's going to hold the highest watch for me, and not somebody who's going to say, well, if they operate on you for cancer and the air hits it, the cancer is going to spread. Well, first of all, that's not true. But so many people believe that it's taken on a life of its own. And so who needs that kind of negativity when you're facing a cancer surgery, for instance?
That's
There's a lot of negativity being spewed out right now, talk of how much money everybody's losing because the stock market is going down due to the tariffs and things of that nature that President Trump is putting out. Well, that may be the appearance of it, but that's not the truth of it, because guess what? Those stocks are not your source of supply. Your source of supply is God. And when you keep your mind on the divine, the stock market's going to go up and down regardless. It always does. And it always recovers. But you don't make your money from the stock market. You get your money from God.
That's right. And it's energy, anyhow. It's just divine energy.
Yeah.
And that divine energy always exists.
Mm-hmm.
So we're the vehicles that block it through our fears and doubts.
Mm-hmm.
So we only need to be concerned from moment to moment. Just be in the moment and bless whatever you have, whatever resource you have. And if you don't see it, just know it. It will appear.
Yeah.
Yes.
And for me, divine science became practical when I realized that I didn't need to escape my problems, but I could see through them to what was behind them. And what's behind everything, no matter what, is spirit. It's God. It's divine.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes in my finite human form, I might throw in a little something that's not like the divinity. And I was thinking about this earlier. Thoughts of lack and limitation, thoughts of pain and sickness and dis-ease, turmoil, things of that nature. They're all dark thoughts. But what happens when you walk into a dark room and you turn a lamp on?
Mm-hmm.
The light shows up. And when the light shows up, the darkness doesn't just fade out into nothingness. The darkness is instantly gone. So for me, to look behind the problem, no matter what it is, and to know that the divine is there, is like switching on a lamp. It turns it on. And that's what I tell people when I work in my ministry. God is all there is, Jihadi. I show them that there's no need to feel disconnected. There's no need to feel despair or anything. Yeah, you cannot deny the fact that right now you don't have enough money to pay your rent or your mortgage, or you're in pain. But behind all that is the truth that you are perfect, whole, and complete. And every situation, every circumstance in your life is okay, because behind it all is God, like the silver lining behind a cloud.
Beautifully stated. Thank you. Thank you. Just know the perfection of this essence. Yes.
Yeah. And now, how do we do that? Well, we take time to go into meditative silence.
Mm-hmm.
We can do what the Centers for Spiritual Living, religious science, called spiritual mind treatment. We can also call it affirmative prayer.
Yes.
And use like the unity I use this technique all the time, the unity practice of denials and affirmations, where I deny that my problem has any power over me whatsoever, because it's nothing. It's a thought.
It's
What
just a,
does have power is the truth, which is the light behind that.
that's right.
So when you use these, not as rituals, but as tools, they remind us that we are more than the circumstances that we find ourselves in. The truth has helped people find clarity in all kinds of issues, from relationships to healing the physical body, stepping into new roles, and especially the one that's on everybody's mind right now is the money, the price of eggs, all this other kind of stuff, principle. Use your affirmations and denials. Take this into affirmative prayer and
That's right.
know that it's not what it all looks like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like as Emmett Fox, who was a divine science minister, wrote a prayer, or wrote about a prayer. He called it the Golden Key.
Mm-hmm.
And his belief was that instead of focusing and fixating on a problem or a challenge, instead we turn our attention to the divine. Now, what is the divine? So that's an opportunity for us to think about that, affirm that. What is the divine? Absolute good or not? Absolute peace or not? Absolute substance or not? So absolute good. God is absolute good.
Absolutely. And we're going to explore this and a little bit more about what principle is and how we use them in divine science in just a moment. But right now we're going to take a break and get some business done, and we'll be back in just a moment. This is Divine Science Everywhere on New Thought Media Network.
Please help us say thank you to our organizational sponsors, including the Hefferland Foundation, Affiliated New Thought Network, International New Thought Alliance, Science of Mind Archives and Library Foundation, Center for Spiritual Living Denver, Center for Spiritual Living Midtown, New Thought Philadelphia, Planned Happiness Institute, Summit Center for Spiritual Living, One Heart Retreats, Center for Spiritual Living on the Lake, Unity Kitchener, Unity Spiritual Center Ottawa, Om Center for Spiritual Living, Satya Center, Begin Within Ministries, Center for Spiritual Living North Jersey, Unity of Savannah, and the Center for Spiritual Living Seattle, as well as all of our individual donors. Thank you for being part of the New Thought Media Network. Please like, share, and subscribe. New Thought Media Network, positively inspiring.
New Thought Media Network is proud to present New Thought's Roots and Branches with Reverend Dr. Ruth Miller. Join us every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Mountain Time. Tune in live or watch anytime on our YouTube channel. Discover the rich history of New Thought and its impact on modern spirituality. Join Reverend Dr. Ruth Miller as she shares insights, stories, and teachings that inspire and uplift. Experience deep insights and transformative teachings that connect you to the roots of New Thought. Visit our YouTube channel to catch up on past episodes and join us live every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Connect with us and be part of the journey.
New Thought Media Network is excited to present Divine Science Everywhere, Fridays at 2 p.m. Mountain Time and 4 p.m. Eastern. Come explore a modern experience of divine science with Rev Joy Fletcher, Rev Jeff Radcliff, and Bishop Durrell Watkins. Join us as we open our eyes to divine science everywhere we look. Fridays on New Thought Media Network.
Well, we're back. Welcome back.
We are. Yes, yes.
Reverend Joy, we were talking about principle and especially the omnipresence, which divine science is based on. Well, all of New Thought is based on omnipresence, but that is, for us as divine scientists, that is the starting point, the middle point, and the ending point. Would you agree?
Absolutely. And all through all as all.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now I'm going to draw just a little bit of wisdom from a religious science minister, Reverend Dennis Merritt Jones, who's a wonderful writer and a wonderful speaker. And he was speaking about science of mind, particularly, but it's, we're just going to insert the words new thought instead, because that's what divine science, religious science, unity, foundational, universal foundation for better living, all these denominations, it's all under the New Thought branch. And basically he says new thought is the study of the principle of being. Principle is defined as a fundamental truth or law upon which others are based. And we might say that because God is all there is. Principle is the intelligence of God in action.
That's right. That's right. And then the name divine, of course, all that is. And then science. Science can be proven. Science can be proven. So it's practical and can be applied. Yes.
How have you made these principles more personal in your own life?
Well, in my work in hospice, I'm so grateful to serve in that capacity. I support families after their loved one dies with grief, and also I have served as a hospice chaplain. So I've visited many families, officiated many services. And I think the most important thing is for you as a practitioner, a presence, to be firmly grounded in the truth of who and what you are. Not get caught up of, will I say the right words? Will I do this or that? But rather just be a loving presence. That's the most important thing. Just be a presence. Be an active presence. Listen. Be open with your open heart and know within yourself that omnipresence is here.
Right.
Is here. And whatever is occurring is an opportunity for healing and transformation. And healing occurs in many ways, many beautiful ways. I've seen families that had fractured relationships and come together as their loved one was nearing the end of their life. It was just so many beautiful gifts there. And the opportunity to have life review and share memories and maybe clear the air. And it's so beautiful how it unfolds, and to just have that opportunity for peace and transformation and healing. Yes.
And when you go into this with them, you don't deny the pain that they're feeling or anything like that, but you help them to transcend it, because you're helping them to see that there is a deeper truth there.
Yes.
Yeah. So that is really awesome.
Yes.
And as an end of life doula myself, I've done the same thing with people. And I think even more than that is, I don't know, I guess I would call it a gift. Some people may not. But when I've sat in a vigil with someone who is ready to make a transition into the next life,
Yes.
I let them know. I whisper to these people, to the loved one who is on that deathbed, and say, your family is going to be fine.
Yes.
You're going to take care of each other. I will help them. It's okay to go and move on. And it seems like within hours, sometimes, the times that I've done that, it's usually 2 or 3 hours, the person does make their transition. And they do it peacefully. They do it with the knowledge, because even though they don't seem to recognize or may not seem like they hear us, they can hear.
Yes.
And I hope to give them the enough information so that they can be at peace, so that they don't have to worry that they're leaving something behind that needs to be taken care of, that they can feel free to move forward.
Thank you. Yes, that is a gift that you do share for sure. And also the power of words, the power of presence, the ministry of presence, and prayers for healing to occur and for forgiveness. We as humans seem to think that we need forgiveness, and forgiveness for things that were said or not said, things that were done and not done, just the freedom in that. And also to emphasize that love and life is eternal, that we are never, ever apart from one another, much less our source, no matter what it looks like. The presence and the love lives on always, always.
You mentioned prayers for healing, and I think that confuses a lot of people, because people don't want to let go of their loved one who is ready to pass. So when they ask for prayer, I pray for healing. I think a lot of times people are wanting prayers for cures. And
Yes.
there's an entirely different thing going on here. If
Yes.
that person's in stage 4, whatever, that prayer may cure them. Chances are it's not going to. But the healing comes in whenever you realize that just because this person has a condition that's going to move them from life into death does not mean that there can't be a healing, which is basically the remembrance that behind it all is God. And no matter what it looks like, we are always perfect and whole and complete. And I know in my own life, I've had several health challenges, and I've used that same principle of God as wholeness. You can't pretend to not be in pain. You just can't. You can't pretend that, oh, I don't have this, that, or the other. But you can affirm that wholeness is the truth of your being, that even though it looks on the outside like you've got something really serious that's really going to mess you up, it doesn't have to, because you're shifting your focus, you're shifting your perspective, and that changes your outcome. It changes, well, it may not change your physical condition. You may still have the pain, you may still have the condition, whatever it is, but you know that you are not that condition, that you are not that pain, that those things do not have any real place in your life, because behind it all, the omnipresence, the omnipresence. So, and I'm going through some stuff right now medically, but I know that behind it all is God. I also know that I've got a surgery coming up again, but it's going to take care of this particular problem. And I know a lot of people are like, well, aren't you putting your faith in the physician? Well, no, I'm putting my faith in God. The surgeon is expressing his, her divinity. The nurses, the technicians, the anesthesiologists, all of them are expressions of the divine. And
Absolutely.
religious science founder Ernest Holmes said that the cure is in the pill as well as the prayer. In other words, they're not mutually exclusive. You can pray and still see your doctor and still get this taken care of. So I know that right now, the pain that I feel, the condition that I have, it's transient. It's temporary. It's not truth. It's a fact, but it's not truth. The difference between facts and truth, facts can change.
That's right.
We do it all the time. But truth is eternal. Truth never changes. So yeah, right now I may have this condition. It may require an operation, and that's okay. It's a fact. But the truth of it is, I am perfect, whole, and complete, just as I am. And that goes for everybody. We just lose sight of it so easily sometimes. But using those tools that we talked about earlier, the affirmative prayer, the affirmations and denials, going into the meditative silence and just reestablishing your connection with divinity, that brings you back into the light of truth.
That's right. And the experience that you're having now isn't you, the essence of you. It's just your experience. Choosing to have surgery or medical interventions, or even for some people crossing over and leaving their body behind, none of that is a failure. It's just a process, another expression of the divine. And often through those experiences, we have the opportunity to have a deeper connection with our source, a deeper connection, because that's the only consistency, the only constant in our life.
Yeah.
And just remember to focus on that, the wholeness and the perfection of eternal life. Life. Yes.
I quote a lot of Ernest Holmes, and that confuses some people because they say, well, you're a divine scientist. He was a religious scientist. Why don't you talk more about divine scientists? Well, Ernest Holmes was ordained originally a divine science minister. Agnes Gaylor in the Seattle Divine Science Church ordained him. I believe it was like, 1919, 1920, something like that. I don't remember. But basically, like we talked about earlier, whether it's religious science, divine science, unity, whatever, we all teach the same truth. And Ernest Holmes said, I live in the faith that there is a presence and power greater than I am that nurtures and supports me in ways I could not even imagine. I know that this presence is all-knowing and all-power and is always right where I am. So you see, he's talking about omnipresence because God is everywhere and is right where we are. We're all connected. He says that it's greater than I am. Well, that's just when we look at it from our human perspective at the omnipresence. Yeah, it is greater than us because it encompasses everything. We, as humans, by virtue of being human, we have limits to our lifespan. We have limits to our knowledge, our database, but omnipresence is everything. It's the omniscience, the all the wisdom and knowledge of the universe. So that is that power greater than us. But the thing of it is, no matter what it looks like, it's always there. As he says, it nurtures me. It supports me in ways I couldn't even imagine. It's always right where I am.
That's right. That's right. And Melinda Kramer said, when truth is realized, it goes to the foundation of the air and destroys it. This is divine science healing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
it's just a different spin on that.
yeah.
We realize the truth of omnipresence. It dissolves the foundation of the air and destroys it or dissolves it, and then divine science healing.
Yeah. So we walk in that lineage that Melinda Kramer and Nona Brooks and Fanny Brooks James, Nona's sister, so many others taught. This was principle. They lived it. They practiced in silence and in stillness, and they lived it. Their lives were laboratories for truth. And it's up to us to follow in their footsteps and do the same thing. It's up to us to live up to their legacy. They weren't just historical figures, but they were living inspiration. And that's what I try to be. I call myself a spiritual cheerleader because I want people to not get bogged down in misery or whatever, but to see that there's something out there that can help them, because not only is it out there, but it's also in here. Okay. So when we affirm that God is all, we are claiming the reality that our founders discovered. Every decision, every moment, it's a chance to bring these principles into form.
Absolutely. And as you said, we walk in that lineage. We stand on the shoulders of our spiritual ancestors. We do. And they taught principle and they lived it. They practiced in silence and in stillness and in spiritual science. And in fact, their lives were laboratories for truth, and they left us a sacred trust to carry on. And since we know about it, we've caught a glimpse of it. It is up to us to apply it, to live it, to live and breathe in this awareness.
We'll talk some more about this in just a moment. Let's take another break, and that will give us a few moments to also ponder these things. So we'll take a break and we'll come back and we'll wrap things up for today. So thanks for being with us right here on Divine Science Everywhere on New Thought Media Network.
Media Network is proud to present New Thoughts, Roots, and Branches with Reverend Dr. Ruth Miller. Join us every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Mountain Time. Tune in live or watch anytime on our YouTube channel. Discover the rich history of New Thought and its impact on modern spirituality. Join Reverend Dr. Ruth Miller as she shares insights, stories, and teachings that inspire and uplift. Experience deep insights and transformative teachings that connect you to the roots of New Thought. Visit our YouTube channel to catch up on past episodes and join us live every Tuesday at 4 p.m. Connect with us and be part of the journey.
New Thought Media Network is excited to present Divine Science Everywhere, Fridays at 2 p.m. Mountain Time and 4 p.m. Eastern. Come explore a modern experience of divine science. With Rev Joy Fletcher, Rev Jeff Radcliff, and Bishop Durrell Watkins. Join us as we open our eyes to divine science everywhere we look. Fridays on New Thought Media Network.
Well, welcome back to Divine Science Everywhere. I'm Reverend Jeff Radcliff, along with Reverend Joy Fletcher, and who was that other guy? Bishop Durrell, who? Oh, yeah, him. He'll be back next week. He's on the way at a conference, but we miss him. So
Yes. So in this time of the appearance of division and fear, divine science gives us the lens of oneness. Now, divine science teaches that God, Spirit, the divine, is everywhere present and in every moment and every individual. This omnipresence means that there is no time or place where spirit isn't. The principal emphasizes that the idea that we are always connected to the divine and that all things are expression of God. And even now, in this current political climate, that is true. Even though things may look like they're in upheaval and people have their own opinions and misconceptions, underneath it all, we're all one. We're all one. So I remind myself when I see something or hear something that rattles me, think, what aspect of myself is not centered? What is it about this situation that bothers me? What is mine to do? Who and what do I need to speak up for in a peaceful way, in a firm but peaceful way? And all the while declaring the omnipresence, not making someone wrong or perpetuating some of the actions that are going on. Instead, I have a spiritual responsibility to focus on the omnipresence of the divine.
Yeah. I find what you said to be very pertinent to my life. When we look at the outside things of the world that rattle us, and I apply it to circumstances. I try to apply it to people. Not always the easiest thing in the world to do. This stuff is simple. It's simple to understand. It's not always easy to do, but it is our work to do. So when you look at someone who you admire, then you remember that those same qualities that you admire in them are also within you, and you can nurture them and bring them forth. And if there's something about somebody that pisses you off, that maybe you don't care for, look within yourself, because somewhere in there is a similar kind of being that you will want to take a look at and maybe want to work on healing, because you wouldn't notice it in them if it weren't already in you. So this reminds us, divine science allows us to remember that our origin came from love, and it's up to us to express that. So love is not a reaction for us. It's a preemptive action. If we go into a situation knowing that we are expressions of divinity and God is love, then we can bring a lot of healing just by remembering that as we do this.
That's right. And as the Course in Miracles said, everything is either an act of love or a call for love.
Yeah.
That's an opportunity to practice the omnipresence of God.
And one thing that we haven't talked about yet, and we need to do that, is another way to practice the principles. We have a little retreat coming up here in a few months, don't we?
That's right.
Tell us about it.
Starting on from November 2nd through the 6th, there's a cruise that you're invited to join. And you can find more information on the Divine Science Federation International page. And the fares start at $299, and you can make payments. And we're leaving from Port Canaveral, and we're going to Nassau, as well as a private island. And it's a beautiful, beautiful ship with lots of activities. And we will do some activities together, meditation and having dinner together, all of us and the New Thought community and friends. And then you also then can do things independently. So it's not structured at all. We may offer some things, but it's also the opportunity to rejuvenate and just enjoy ourselves and get to know each other.
Right. It goes back to what we talked about earlier, where life is inherently spiritual. So this gives us the chance to experience that by visiting the Bahamas and being out on the ocean for a while, doing whatever we want to do as part of the cruise, but then also coming together to meditate, to pray, to fellowship, just to be. And that's important, just to be, because life is omnipresence in expression. Right. So this is a perfect opportunity for folks to do this. $299 to start out. There are some add-ons that if you want to go for. There's an unlimited drink package. It's not only alcoholic beverages, but it's also soft drinks and teas and coffee and things that coffee addict you are, I know. So it's those that, all of that, and that's bundled in with the unlimited Wi-Fi.
That's right.
That otherwise you'd be paying for on a daily basis or going without. So even with an add-on like that, and I think that's only $99 extra.
Yes. Yes.
This is still going to be one of the most affordable vacations that you could go on. And it's in November,
yes,
where when a lot of our country is going to be gearing down and the weather's going to be getting cold. Well, honey, those folks in the Bahamas are not going to be wearing parkas and snow boots. So this is our opportunity to get to experience all that life has to offer in the Caribbean, while everybody else is starting to freeze their little hoo-haws off up here. So
right. And an opportunity to experience even more beautiful omnipresence and tropical setting. So definitely, we'd love it if you'd join us. Definitely.
It's going to be awesome. And we've got some things coming up on Divine Science Everywhere that folks are going to want to stick around for. We've got I'm going to name drop a couple of names, if that's okay. We are going to have Reverend Robert Brzezinski join us one day. He's going to tell us all about how he brought New Thought Media Network out of the ethers and his thoughts and actually made it a thing. And now
on May 16th,
we also have the well-loved Martha Creek. Reverend Martha Creek is one of my favorite people in the whole wide world. She is a mentor to so many ministers of whatever New Thought denomination. She's coming up.
May 23rd.
May 23rd. Okay, I was going to say the 30th. I knew there was a 3 in there, but Martha Creek is going to be here as well. And we've got a few more guests and surprises. We're going to talk to some people who are legacy members of New Thought, and that includes you as well, Reverend Joy, being born into a family of unity ministers before you became Divine Science.
Yes.
And there are some other people, because most of us discovered New Thought. We weren't born into it, but we have some people who were born into it. We're going to talk to them as well. So Divine Science Everywhere has got some really cool things planned, and I hope everybody gets to join us for those.
Yes, I do too. And then next Friday, we are going to focus on the nurturing spirit, the mother spirit, and the mothers of New Thought. So we really hope that you join Divine Science Everywhere.
Yeah, this is going to be good. Yeah, we'll look at the divine feminine aspect of our belief system. And then I imagine that come Father's Day, we'll probably do something a little similar and talk about the divine masculine and how we use that principle to make our lives what they are. So it's just going to be good stuff.
Right.
Well,
So thank you. Yes. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, it's just been great. So I'm glad that you and I and Reverend Bishop, what's his name, Durrell. I'm glad we're walking this path together, and we're on this journey to bring divine science to folks who maybe aren't aware of what it is that we are about and what we have to offer.
That's right, and it also gives us the opportunity to practice this truth. Definitely.
Yes. Yeah, because if you're not living it, how can you teach it to somebody else, right?
I really believe that too. So thank you, everyone, for joining us to this exploration of how divine science is practical. And we hope that you've been inspired to use these ideas in your own life. And join us next week as we honor mothers, the divine feminine, and future weeks as well.
Yeah. Yeah. Take what we've given you today and make it your own. Use it for your life and make it applicable to your situations and circumstances. If you need, you can reach out to Reverend Joy, Bishop Durrell. You can reach out to me. If you need some inspiration, you need some help doing this, we're here for you. But thanks for joining us for Divine Science Everywhere. We'll look forward to seeing you here again on New Thought Media Network. Bye, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.